because of the support that I have around me, the support from Brandon, my family, and just being able to get that out, just to share it with people. And if it only helps one person, that means the world to me, right? I've had several people reach out to me just for that. And just outside of business, it's something that I'm very passionate about, helping people that have gone through those sort of tragedies and then maybe not dealt with them the right way, and maybe ended up on the wrong side of the tracks, but up to get back in. So
that's good. Thank you for sharing. Let's go to Andy. So how do you share your story in social media, like your video or posting? Like, how has it helped you personally? But what were some of the people that reached out from it?
Okay, so I'm new to the whole real estate world. I was a choral director, so I was on camera a lot actually, and I was on stages a lot, but not speaking like this. They always saw my backside, right? Because I was conducting. But when I transitioned over with Trey, I started doing the social piece, the social media, doing the posts for him because, like he said, he was non-existent because it just wasn't his thing. So I started doing that. I announced that I was going into real estate, and that actually got us several clients, and it came full circle because we just sold 2 of my former students their first homes. They were 23 and 25, and that meant the world to me. It meant the world to me because that's one of the things that Trey is really passionate about is first-time home buyers. He bought his when he was 18. So that is a way that social media really helped because I put it out there, I started promoting the business, and you know, the one client, he was in my show choir, he was on the spectrum. His mom trusted me with everything. She told me when I was teaching him, she said, you believed in him. You did not give up on him. You allowed him to be on that stage with you. I will 100% trust you and your husband with him to buy his first home. And that right there just speaks volumes. And we had a first-time home buyer seminar, promoted it. We asked him to come back, and he was actually on Trey's panel at the seminar, and he spoke about, you know, buying his first home. So that's kind of the thing with social media, I think, for business side of it.
Yeah.
Personal. Okay. I've always, I think, wanted to share my personal story. It's taken many, many years for me to get to the place where I'm at now. When I was 25, my husband died in a plane crash. And it has taken 19 years for me to be here and to be able to do this. So I would, you know, just pick quotes, you know, from other people, and I would share them. And the people who knew me, they knew what was behind that. But it wasn't until a couple of years ago, I followed this lady on social media. I've followed her for many, many years. She does events and brings widows together. And I finally said, you know, I'm going to do that. And I did, and that's where it got me to thinking, that's what I want to be for other people. I want to help specifically for me, widows, because that's what I am. I'm a remarried widow. And I think that by sharing more, now, I mean, if you work with this guy, oh gosh, challenges that's the word. So I have really put myself out there. He knows I'm a singer. He's like, you got to post a video of you singing. Well, yeah,
that's singer.
Thank you.
I like that Star is Born to play the piano.
He made me do that during COVID, and I wasn't even a client of his.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think that there are lots of other widows that followed me from a distance, just like I did. Her name is Michelle, One Fit Widow, and I followed her from a distance for many, many years. And then my dream was to meet her, and I finally did. And I have now had other people reach out to me, and they said, you are the one that saved me when I was going through that. And I had no idea. It was just them watching me and watching what I did on social media and being vulnerable and being able to share that.
And the beautiful thing is she's in the process of writing a book on her story, which she won't get over to it. Like, it's insane. The whole story, they could do a film on it. So
Yeah, it's
kudos to be
and I'll tell you, it's hard. It's really hard. You know, I'm sitting there talking with the writer, and I can't start at chapter 1. You know, it's hard, but it's going to be very rewarding.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Amy, how has sharing your story just helped you personally, or just different opportunities that have come from it?
So for me, it was coming to the point that, very similar to Trey, that I even had a story. I feel like I'm a very ordinary person. I haven't had tragedies. I don't have a lot of things that I felt people would connect to. But it forced me to think about my uniqueness, what makes me authentic, because I believe authenticity is very important. And then just being able to reflect that back on camera. And remembering that I don't know who's going to be watching, so does it really matter at the end of the day? I will not lie. I struggle with it every time he tells me I have to do a video per week, even to this day, but I am getting better and more confident, and I definitely see the value. How many of you related to their stories at all? Raise your hand. How many of maybe have shared experiences and connected and had empathy and whatnot? That is the value of your story and how it can be reflected in a very positive way to make change.
So true. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. That's why you connect with people on a deeper level. You help them, but also they connect to you. 2 more questions for each of you. I'll go down the line. The first one is, Trey, what would you say to the audience right now? Give the best advice to them to help them create their videos and share their story. Anything that would help them to go create their first couple videos.
Yes, the first thing is take action. Take the first step. And whether that's picking up the phone and doing a video here, I've been to several of these things. Keller Williams does their family reunion every year. And there's always breakouts, and they want you to get your phone out, and then everybody does it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's the way it would be for me right now. If I hadn't met Brandon, because I wouldn't do it all. I know myself. I would not put myself out there on my own. But until someone kind of framed it for me as, this can change someone's life. This can be, an epic moment, and how just one video, one share, can change someone else's life, including your own, because you don't ever know who's watching it. As long as you're authentic about it, and just I think that's the biggest thing is authenticity. And there's no way I would have done it without a coach. And matter of fact, I was working with Brandon during my active, alcoholism, my alcohol problem, and I had to come to him. He was by my side the whole time, and so once I got better and re-upped with him, I was able to see things a little bit more clearly. It's invaluable, and I would never hire anybody else in a million years.
It was that time, that whole journey was, I connect with you such it's beyond business. Anyways, I love you. What was the question? The question was, what's your best advice for them to make sure that if they're going to share their story video, a little pep talk for them, so they go do it.
Okay, doing it is number 1. I think Brandon always encourages me to do video. I like to write. I write down all of my feelings. I have a million journals. I could, but I think too, getting past who cares what anybody else thinks. I think it's taken, even for Brandon to say, you are an expert in what you're doing. You truly are. And I'm not. I was walking with my neighbor and talking about this transition that I'm going through, and she's a psychiatrist, and she goes, you could come to my practice and you could do sessions on traumatic loss. And I said, no, I can't. I don't have a degree. And she goes, you went through it. You can do it. you know? So I think it's just believing in yourself that you do have the capability, you have the expertise in whatever it is that you do, that you can create that video. And even if you get one person that watches, or you get 100, you're doing something, and you're making a name for you and your brand. So that's probably what I would
really
say.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Amy?
So, you can do it.
You can do it!
Let's go, right?
Let's go.
You can do it, but you're also worth it. You're worth an investment in yourself. And I have never invested in myself like I have with Brandon. It's a little emotional.
It is, right?
Because when you told me how much you charged, I raised my prices, and I prayed a lot.
Oh, we do too.
But I've been able to make the payments. I've been able to do the work, and that investment in myself is priceless.
It is.
It's something I will never regret doing. So,
Wow, I'm gonna drop the mic and walk away.
these are our stories, and we are here because of your influence. I'm also here because of Jonathan's influence. When I became president of IAHSP, he was helping me a lot. He's like, I am so tired of helping you. Let me turn you over to Brandon. Because Brandon made the influence on him. And if you follow Jonathan H. Miller, phenomenal growth I've seen in him. He's a friend, he's a colleague that I want to be like him when I grow up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm 10 years younger than you. I'm like, shut up. But still, it's so true. Thank you, because he invests. We're investing in him, but he invests right back, doesn't he?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Investment I'll never regret.
Okay, I didn't tell him to say this, just so you know. I love this. I want to end on, I want you to, each person, if you want to share, like, if they're thinking about joining the workshop, your advice to them, because I know some people are like, I don't know, should I? It's a big investment. And then two, how can people find what you're doing and what you're working on? Because you're doing some amazing things. So Trey, we'll start with you. First one is, hey, they're thinking about doing the workshop, what's your advice to them? And two, I want to hear about what you're working on right now.
And I think the biggest thing was the investment in yourself, like you had said. When Angie and I, when she came out of being a teacher, I remember it was a Black Friday special, and I had been to the Rise and Record prior, and it was like it was a special. So I said, "You're gonna come with me, right?" So she came down to Nashville, and we did this event with Brandon, which totally shifted her mindset, right? But I think the brand part of it, because I went through a separate class. We went down to Orlando, I think, and did that, St. Petersburg, and it was.
That's what they're about to potentially go through.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah, you should do that.
It was epic, because I remember just kind of hearing the words podcast and book, the acronym, and I was like, oh, well, I'm definitely not doing a podcast. I'm not going to write a book, and
I'm not going to do a video.
no, I'm going to do a video. And then we went, and how many months later, or maybe it was about a year later when you
5 months.
decided, 5 months later,
Write a book.
So she's writing a book, and we're starting this podcast together. That I never thought would be possible. And by the way, I never thought that I would know how to do it, which we don't, but we have help, right? We went longer, we went further on with Brandon after this brand class, and it just, it really changed our mindset of what we can accomplish and how we can not only build our brand, but reach out and help others.
Name the podcast and give a plug to the podcast. If you're going to be the next, but
Yeah. Resilience Reborn is the podcast. And in my words, she has different words for it, but in my words, we're bringing the power of community to those who might be going through some sort of life-changing adversity that was something out of their control or something that was in their control that they just can't get over the next hump. They just don't know what the next, I know the power of community because it's helped me a lot in my life. And I feel like it's a responsibility, if we're gonna share our stories, to help as many people as possible. And I truly believe in it. And like I said before, and I told her, I said, if we reach just one person out there who's going through this stuff, and we can change the trajectory of their life and hopefully not make some of the same mistakes and maybe learn some of the things and then we want to bring people in to share their stories that might be able to help as well. So we're very passionate about it.
Angie?
You can follow him at easysellshomes.com.
Actually,
Did you say that?
Yeah, you did it, but you did.
Okay, so I 100% think that if you relate at all to any of us up here, that you should work with Brandon. He did not tell us to say these things, I promise. I knew about him when Trey met him all those years ago, and I just don't think that Trey was at a place, obviously, to go forward with anything, but he did work one-on-one with Brandon for some time when you did that. And then, like I said, he kept telling me, come over with me. I thought, I'm a music teacher. That's what I'm going to do. That's the way that I think that was part of my healing, how I was healing myself, because I felt like I was helping my students. I always worked in the economic, the school I was recently at is about 85% Hispanic. So not very highfalutin areas, and I love those kids, but they had problems, and I helped solve them because I was their choir teacher they had for 4 years. And that was my way of healing, and I lost who I was in that. And it wasn't until I went to the widow convention that I went to, or that I went to Rise and Record with Brandon, that I realized there is more that I need to do. There's more that I want to do in life. And he gave me the tools to believe that I can do it. He said, you can write a book. I said, no, I can't. I know I have tons of journals. I have all this stuff. I have 19 years of stuff. He's like, you got this. And he set me up with the people, and I'm actually doing it. You can do a podcast. What would you do a podcast on? We're going to be Resilience Reborn, and our mission is really just to provide a safe haven, a community for people about things that you don't talk about. You don't just go out into the world and say, hey, I lost my husband when I was 25 years old. Like literally it came crashing down. You don't just go out and say, I'm an alcoholic. We have friends that, they lost their little girl to cancer. She's going to be on our podcast because that's important. That's important. So that's just kind of the side part while we build real estate as well. So.
Like it. I'm excited for the podcast. And it's airing February.
Whenever you say.
Well, it's February 21st. That's the date.
Yeah. We've got to get to recording.
I like it.
Yes.
After this.
Yeah.
Amy?
So why should they come to that event?
Why should they come? And then I want you to share how they.
How many of you missed Jonathan H. Miller this weekend?
I did.
He will be there. So that's the reason. You can come.
Yeah.
He'll be there. I will be there. Ginny will be there. And the reason I'm sharing that isn't to brag, but for you to know you're not going to be alone. There's going to be other people in the room that you can connect with. And outside, and the beautiful story about Rise and Record and all those faces, I know most of them because I was at Rise and Record. I know their stories. I know where they were. I know where they are.
Yeah.
But we have built a community amongst ourselves through that relationship. And so if you're able to join us, we can build a community. We can hold each other accountable. You can say, Amy, I know Brandon told you to do 5 videos this week. And I don't see 2. And you can hold me accountable. gladly do the same if that's what you would like. So you're not alone, and that's what you said, and I agree. That, to me, honestly, is one of the most impactful things, because as an entrepreneur, a female, it's always been refreshing to know that I haven't been alone in this industry. You're not alone.
So, it's a round of applause. You guys stand up, give them a round of applause. All right, last slide, and I'm going to end on this. You guys can take your seat. Thank you. Okay, this is a lot, right? So, you know I'm going to end on the take action. What are you going to do next? Immediate next steps? You're going to take action. Do something. Whether you work with me or not, I want you to take action. I want you to do something, and maybe a year, 2 years from now, you'll be like, Brandon, I remember you at that IAHSP event where you said something to me, and I went and created a podcast show. I went and did something. So take action. Post a video on social media. Who's going to post a video today? Yes? Come on, I'll raise your hand. Otherwise, I failed you. You're going to post a video.
Video of you.
Follow up. Here we go. Follow up and introductions. Everybody you talk to here, follow up. Continue the relationship. Some of the best opportunities and friendships came from people I stayed in contact with over the years. Add value to the people around you. Add value. We live in a world of value. The more value you get, but the more value you give, the more you get in return. Grab a ticket to the workshop. Again, first 7, I haven't looked at my phone yet, but first 7, let's scan this, join. You got an hour with me. I will make sure it changes your life. If not, I'll give you all your money back from my own pocket. And then my last one, whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. And whatever you think about the most is what you become. In life, you have to actually believe it. I know it's foo-foo, hey, believe in yourself, but it's true. I believed in myself when I lost everything. I believed myself when I started. I believed myself when I knew I'd always be where I'm at today. You first have to believe that you can do it. You conceive it in your mind, and then you actually have to do it. So I want you all to go out there, create something great, and become unforgettable. Because life is too short not to. I'm Brandon C. Adams. Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon, one more time.